The realm of human attraction is rarely a straightforward path of honest declarations and transparent intentions. Often, it is a complex theater of subconscious signals, biological imperatives, and, in many cases, calculated psychological maneuvers. When we delve into the dark psychology of attraction, we are looking at the strategic and sometimes manipulative ways individuals navigate the high-stakes game of romantic interest. While traditional dating advice focuses on being yourself, dark psychology focuses on influence. It explores the hidden levers of the human mind that, when pulled, can bypass logical filters and speak directly to a person's deepest insecurities, desires, and primal instincts. A man who is secretly attracted to you but is using these methods isn't just waiting for a spark. He is actively trying to manufacture a fire. Understanding these 15 signs is not just about identifying a potential suitor. It is about recognizing the mechanisms of emotional influence. These tactics are designed to create a specific result, a shift in the power dynamic where you feel a heightened, almost addictive level of interest. This often happens through intermittent reinforcement, a psychological concept where rewards, affection, and attention are given unpredictably. This creates a stronger bond than consistent kindness because it mimics the neurological hit of a slot machine. You find yourself obsessing over the why and when of his behavior, which gives him a permanent residence in your thoughts. This is the ultimate goal of dark psychology and attraction, to capture the target's mental real estate. It is important to approach these signs with a grounded perspective. Human behavior exists on a spectrum. A man might use mirroring or the Ben Franklin effect without even realizing he is doing it, driven by a natural, albeit clumsy, desire to be liked. However, when these behaviors are stacked together, the hot and cold patterns, the strategic use of jealousy, and the invasion of physical proximity, they form a profile of a calculated attractor. These techniques are effective because they exploit the lizard brain, the part of our anatomy responsible for survival, reproduction, and social hierarchy. By triggering your hero instinct, or utilizing the scarcity principle, he is essentially hacking your evolutionary hardware to make himself seem more valuable, more mysterious, and more necessary than he might actually be. Being aware of these tactics serves as a psychological shield. When you can name a behavior, such as triangulation or controlled vulnerability, it loses its power over you. You move from being an unwitting participant in a psychological game to an informed observer. You can then ask yourself, do I actually like this person, or am I just reacting to the tension they are creating? This distinction is vital for maintaining your emotional autonomy. In the following exploration of these 15 signs, we pull back the curtain on the subtle art of hidden attraction, providing you with the tools to navigate the darker side of romance with clarity, confidence, and a healthy dose of skepticism. Awareness is your greatest asset in ensuring that the attraction you feel is based on genuine connection rather than psychological engineering. 1. The scarcity principle, selective availability. The scarcity principle is a fundamental pillar of dark psychology rooted in the economic theory that humans place a higher value on objects or people that are perceived as being in limited supply. In the context of secret attraction, a man will manipulate his availability to create a sense of urgency and value in your mind. He isn't just busy, he is strategically busy. By intentionally delaying text responses or occasionally turning down invitations despite clearly wanting to see you, he triggers a psychological chase instinct within you. This tactic relies on the fear of loss, which is often a more powerful motivator than the hope of gain. When someone is always available, they become a commodity. When they are scarce, they become a prize. This behavior works by creating an emotional vacuum. When he is present, he is likely intense, charming, and fully engaged, making the subsequent dark periods of silence feel more pronounced. You begin to analyze why the communication stopped, which inadvertently keeps him at the forefront of your thoughts. This mental real estate is exactly what he is aiming for. By rationing his attention, he ensures that when he does finally reach out, you experience a dopamine spike that reinforces his importance. It is a calculated move to shift the power dynamic, ensuring that you are the one waiting for his validation rather than the other way around. Over time, this builds a subconscious association where his presence feels like a reward you have earned, rather than a natural part of a budding relationship. 2. Strategic love bombing and withdrawal. Strategic love bombing is a high-intensity tactic used to overwhelm your emotional defenses through excessive attention, flattery, and affection. When a man is secretly attracted but using darker psychological methods, he will shower you with targeted compliments that make you feel uniquely seen and understood. This isn't just generic praise, it's a surgical strike on your insecurities, designed to make him feel like the only person who truly gets you. The goal is to create a rapid, intense bond and a high level of emotional dependency in a very short window of time. You become addicted to the validation he provides, as it acts as a powerful external source of self-esteem. However, the dark aspect truly manifests in the withdrawal phase. Once he senses that you are hooked on his approval, he abruptly pulls back. This sudden coldness creates a state of cognitive dissonance. You find yourself spiraling, trying to figure out what you did wrong to end the golden period. This intermittent reinforcement is the same mechanism that makes gambling so addictive. Because you don't know when the next win, the affection, is coming, you become hyper-focused on his behavior. He uses this withdrawal to test your investment level and to see how far you will go to regain his favor. It is a cycle designed to break down your autonomy and place him in a position of total emotional control, all while maintaining the veneer of a complicated or mysterious attraction. 3. The triangular gaze technique. The triangular gaze is a subtle yet potent nonverbal communication tool used to signal deep, often primal, attraction without saying a word. It involves a specific pattern of eye movement where the man shifts his focus in a triangle from one of your eyes down to your lips, then to the other eye, and back again. This isn't the standard eye contact used in casual conversation. It is a lingering, deliberate scanning of your sensory zone. By focusing on the mouth, he is subconsciously signaling a desire for physical intimacy, as the lips are a primary erogenous zone and the gateway to kissing. In dark psychology, this technique is used to prime the target. Even if you aren't consciously aware of the eye pattern, your lizard brain picks up on the shift in tension. It creates a sudden, unexplained spark, or a feeling of being exposed in his presence. He uses this to build sexual tension while maintaining plausible deniability. If confronted, he can simply claim he was just looking at you while you spoke. This gaze often lasts a fraction of a second longer than social norms dictate, creating a micro-moment of intimacy that leaves you feeling flustered. It is a way of touching you with his eyes, gauging your reaction to see if your pupils dilate or if you mirror the behavior, which confirms your own attraction to him and gives him the green light to continue his psychological escalation. 4. Subtle mirroring of microgestures. Mirroring is a natural biological process where people in rapport mimic each other's body language. But in dark psychology, it is practiced with calculated precision to create a false sense of soulmate-level connection. A man secretly attracted to you will observe your idiosyncratic movements, how you tilt your head when confused, the way you hold your coffee cup, or the specific cadence of your speech, and reflect them back to you with a slight delay. This technique bypasses your conscious mind and speaks directly to your subconscious, whispering, "I'm just like you. We are in sync." The danger of intentional mirroring is that it builds trust at an accelerated, unnatural rate. We are evolutionarily hardwired to trust people who move and act like us because they feel safe and familiar. By mirroring your microgestures, he creates an environment where you feel an immediate, deep comfort, leading you to share secrets or lower your guard much sooner than you normally would. He is essentially hacking your empathy. While natural mirroring happens spontaneously, the dark psychologist uses it as a tool to manufacture a bond. He watches for your reactions to ensure he is perfectly calibrated. If you cross your legs, he waits 30 seconds and does the same. This creates a powerful invisible thread between you, making his eventual moves feel destined rather than designed. 5. The Ben Franklin effect, induced favor-seeking. The Ben Franklin effect is a psychological phenomenon where a person who has performed a favor for someone is more likely to do another favor for them. And, more importantly, is more likely to like them. A man using dark psychology will capitalize on this by asking you for small, seemingly insignificant favors. He might ask for your opinion on a minor work problem, borrow a book he has no intention of reading, or ask you to remind him of something later. These are not requests born of need. They are strategic investments he is forcing you to make in him. When you do something for him, your brain experiences a moment of conflict. Why am I helping this person? To resolve this, your mind concludes, I must help him because I like him. This is a form of self-persuasion. He is essentially tricking your brain into developing feelings for him through your own actions. Each small favor you grant increases your sunk cost in the relationship. You become more invested in his well-being and his presence in your life because you have already expended energy on him. This creates a subtle power imbalance where you are consistently providing value to him, which reinforces his status in your mind. He isn't trying to be helpful to win you over. He is making you be helpful so that your own psychology does the work of attracting you to him. 6. Intentional accidental physical proximity. Intentional proximity is a tactical maneuver designed to invade your personal space in a way that remains socially acceptable yet psychologically charged. A man secretly attracted to you will use the proximity effect to increase your familiarity with his physical presence. He will find reasons to stand slightly closer than necessary, perhaps leaning in to look at something on your phone or choosing the chair immediately next to you in an empty room. This isn't a random occurrence. It is a calculated test of your body boundaries. By consistently occupying your intimate zone, typically within 18 inches, he forces your nervous system to habituate to him, making his presence feel like a natural, comforting constant. The dark element involves the use of accidental touch to gauge your physiological response. He might let his shoulder brush yours while walking through a doorway or allow his hand to linger for a fraction of a second too long when passing you an object. These micro-touches trigger the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, even if you aren't consciously aware of the contact. He is looking for tells. Does your breath hitch? Do you pull away? Or do you subconsciously lean into the contact? If you don't recoil, he has successfully lowered your physical defenses. This creates a baseline of physical intimacy that feels organic, but is actually a deliberate setup for more overt advances later, ensuring that when he finally makes a move, it doesn't feel like a shock to your system. 7. The hot and cold emotional anchor. The hot and cold tactic is a form of intermittent reinforcement, which is the most powerful psychological method for creating an addiction. When a man is secretly attracted, he may use this to ensure he is the dominant force in your emotional world. One day, he is the most attentive, charming, and supportive person you've ever met. This is the hot phase. He validates your feelings and makes you feel like the center of his universe. However, just as you begin to feel secure, he shifts to cold without explanation. He becomes distant, short with his answers, or seemingly preoccupied with others. This sudden drop in temperature creates a state of anxious attachment within you. This behavior functions as an emotional anchor. The cold phase causes you to experience a form of withdrawal, leading your brain to obsessively replay the hot moments to find out what changed. You begin to crave the hot phase like a drug. By controlling the temperature of the relationship, he keeps you in a perpetual state of seeking his approval. You find yourself working harder to please him during the distant phases, which grants him total control over the pace of the interaction. This cycle effectively anchors your happiness to his behavior. You become elated when he is kind and devastated when he is distant. This roller coaster creates an intense, albeit toxic, bond that is far harder to break than a stable, consistent attraction. 8. Micro-expressions of pupils and eyebrows. While many dark psychology tactics are behavioral, some rely on reading and manipulating the body's involuntary physiological responses. A man who is secretly attracted to you will be hyper-aware of his own and your micro-expressions. One of the most telling signs is pupil dilation, a reaction controlled by the sympathetic nervous system that occurs when someone looks at something they desire. He may intentionally create environments with lower lighting to encourage this dilation, or he may hold intense eye contact to trigger a reciprocal response in you. When your pupils dilate in response to his, a subconscious feedback loop of attraction is established without a single word being spoken. Additionally, he will use the eyebrow flash, a quick, fractional second raise of the eyebrows, to signal recognition and friendliness at a primal level. In dark psychology, this is used to disarm a target. By combining a warm eyebrow flash with a penetrating gaze, he creates a confusing mix of safety and intensity. He watches your face for similar micro-expressions. He is looking for the nasolabial fold, smile lines, or the softening of your gaze. By reading these involuntary signals, he gains an information advantage. He knows exactly how you feel about him before you've even admitted it to yourself, allowing him to calibrate his next move with predatory precision while you remain in the dark about your own transparency. 9. Hyperfocus on your social validation. In this tactic, the man uses your social circle as a tool to increase his own value in your eyes. Instead of focusing solely on you, he strategically charms your friends, family, or colleagues. This is a form of social proof. By gaining this stamp of approval from the people you trust, he bypasses your natural skepticism. If everyone around you thinks he is wonderful, you begin to question your own hesitations. He isn't just being nice, he is building a fortress of positive opinion around you so that your attraction to him feels like a logical conclusion supported by your community. The darker side of this hyperfocus involves triangulation. He may subtly mention how much your best friend likes him or how well he gets along with your coworkers, creating a faint sense of competition or a fear of missing out, FOMO. You begin to see him through the lens of other people's admiration, which artificially inflates his market value. This tactic makes it very difficult for you to distance yourself from him. If you try to pull away, your social circle, now his unwitting allies, will likely encourage you to give him another chance. He effectively traps you in a web of social expectation, making his secret attraction feel like an inevitable meant-to-be scenario that is reinforced by everyone you know. 10. The hero instinct trigger, controlled vulnerability. The hero instinct is a psychological concept suggesting that men are hardwired to feel needed and useful. A man using dark psychology to attract you will flip this script by exhibiting controlled vulnerability. He will share a secret or minor personal struggle with you, something that feels significant but doesn't actually cost him anything. By doing this, he triggers your nurturing instinct. You feel a sense of privilege for being the one he opened up to, which creates a false sense of intimacy. He is essentially inviting you to save him or support him, which binds you to him through a sense of responsibility. Once you have stepped into the role of his confidant or hero, you become emotionally invested in his outcome. He uses this vulnerability to create a we-against-the-world mentality. This is a calculated risk. By showing a crack in his armor, he makes himself appear more human and relatable, which lowers your guard. However, this vulnerability is often curated. He only shows you the wounds that make him look soulful or misunderstood, rather than his actual flaws. This creates a trauma bond, or a nurture bond, where your attraction is fueled by the desire to protect and understand him. You become the caretaker of his emotions, a position that is incredibly difficult to walk away from because it makes you feel essential to his well-being. 11. Testing boundaries via calculated jokes. A man utilizing dark psychology will often use humor as a reconnaissance tool to probe your personal boundaries without facing the consequences of a direct rejection. He will make calculated jokes that lean toward the sexual, the overly personal, or the subtly insulting, negging. By framing these probes as humor, he creates a safety net for himself. If you take offense or seem uncomfortable, he can immediately retreat by saying, "I'm just kidding," or "you're being too sensitive." This allows him to test how much you will tolerate and how much space you are willing to give him in your emotional and physical life. The goal here is to gradually desensitize you. If he makes a joke that crosses a line and you laugh or stay silent to avoid social awkwardness, he records it as a successful incursion. He is essentially training you to accept his boundary pushing as part of your normal interaction. Over time, these jokes become a bridge to more overt actions. If you accept the joke about being his girlfriend or a joke about your physical appearance, He knows he has successfully softened your defenses. It is a way of anchoring provocative thoughts in your mind while maintaining plausible deniability, ensuring that he stays in control of the narrative while gauging your level of submission to his influence. 12. The spotlight memory effect. The spotlight memory effect is a tactic where a man demonstrates an uncanny, almost hypervigilant ability to remember the tiniest details you have mentioned in passing. While this often looks like thoughtful listening, in a dark psychology context, it is used to create an artificial sense of soulmate connection. He will bring up a specific brand of tea you mentioned once, a childhood pet's name, or a niche fear you offhandedly shared weeks ago. This makes you feel incredibly seen, as if you are under a spotlight of his undivided attention. The psychological impact is profound. It triggers a deep sense of being understood, which is one of the most powerful human needs. However, the dark intent behind this is to create an emotional debt. When someone remembers everything about you, you feel a subconscious pressure to reciprocate that level of intensity and focus. It also serves to map your psychology. By collecting these data points, he learns exactly what triggers your joy, your nostalgia, and your pain. He isn't just listening to be a good friend. He is data mining your personality to better mirror you and manipulate your future reactions. This hyper-attentiveness makes you feel like you are the only person in the room, which can be intoxicating, but it is often a curated performance designed to make you lower your guard and trust him more quickly than is healthy. 13. Protective dominance cues in groups. In a group setting, a man secretly attracted to you may employ protective dominance to signal his claim over you to other potential suitors and to yourself. This manifests as subtle guarding behaviors, standing with his back to the room while facing you to block out others, placing a hand on the back of your chair, or steering you through a crowd with a hand on your lower back. These cues are deeply rooted in evolutionary psychology and are designed to establish a pair bond hierarchy in a social space. He is signaling to the world that you are under his protection, even if you haven't agreed to such a dynamic. The dark side of this is the subtle isolation it creates. By dominating your physical space and attention in public, he discourages other men from approaching you and limits your interactions with your own friends. You might feel a sense of safety or importance because of his protective stance, but it is actually a form of soft territorialism. He uses these cues to see if you will allow him to represent you socially. If you don't move away or protest his guarding, he interprets this as a green light for his dominance. This tactic effectively builds a bubble around the two of you, making it feel like you are a unit before any formal commitment has even been discussed. 14. Subliminal jealousy induction. Subliminal jealousy induction is a strategic move to lower your perceived social value while raising his. A man using this tactic will subtly mention other women who are interested in him, or perhaps innocently praise another woman's qualities in your presence. He isn't being overt. He might say, "My coworker keeps asking me for help with her car. It's so annoying." Or, "Did you see how that girl was looking at me? People are so weird." The intent is to spark a competitive instinct within you. By making himself appear to be in high demand, he triggers your fear of loss and makes you want to win his exclusive attention. This is a form of triangulation where a third party, real or imagined, is used to create tension. It shifts the power dynamic. Instead of him trying to win you over, you find yourself subconsciously trying to prove why you are better than his other options. It is a highly effective way to get you to invest more effort into the relationship. If you feel even a twinge of jealousy, his mission is accomplished. He has successfully made himself the prize. This tactic preys on your insecurities and ensures that you are the one seeking his validation, as you feel the need to secure your place in his life against potential rivals. 15. The long-linger visual hold. The long-linger visual hold is a nonverbal power move that extends eye contact just past the point of social comfort. In a normal conversation, people break eye contact every few seconds to look away and process information. A man using this dark psychology sign will maintain a steady, intense gaze even after the talking has stopped. This lingering creates a massive spike in physiological arousal. Your heart rate increases, and your brain begins to scramble to interpret the silence. By refusing to break first, He asserts a form of quiet dominance and forces you to be the one to look away or break the tension with nervous chatter. This tactic is designed to create a heavy atmosphere. It feels pregnant with unspoken words and sexual tension. In the dark application, it is used as a tool of intimidation and attraction combined. He is looking for micro-flinches or signs of blushing. By holding your gaze for those extra 2 or 3 seconds, he is communicating a level of intensity that bypasses logic and hits you at a primal level. It makes you wonder, what is he thinking, and why won't he look away? That mental preoccupation is exactly what he wants. He is using silence and sight to colonize your thoughts, ensuring that the intensity of the moment haunts you long after you have left his presence.